Welcome to the Bronze Age Monsters bonus show. This is a show we make each and every week for our loyal patrons. For this Son of Satan season, we are also going to be talking about satanic movies from the 70s. Normally in our bonus show, we talk about things we're reading, recommendations, gossip, you know, all the things people really want to hear. Lottery picks, maybe? Are we going to incorporate those this season?
Wow, you just made me remember those little astrology scrolls you could buy in a plastic tube at 7-Eleven.
Oh, I loved those.
Oh, wow. Man, it's the lottery pick, the tiny booklet they'd keep like in your breast pocket.
That's right. We need to bring those back.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So, for tonight's episode, we are going to talk about The Devil's Reign. Before then, Matt, we had talked about, so these bonus shows, this one is going to be free for everyone. But normally these are just for our loyal patrons, our Patreon subscribers. We have different tiers for that. The tiers were originally named when we were Werewolf by Night podcasts. So they are Jack Russell and Man-Wolf themed. But we wanted to change some of those. And so I had some suggestions, Matt, if you wanted to hear them.
Yep. I love doing stuff on the fly.
Yes,
so,
I know.
I'm not being sarcastic. I love.
No, I know. No, but this is how we keep the relationship fresh. So I think right now our lowest tier, which is just $1, which is just kind of, that's more of a tip jar thing, you know. But we have people that do that, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think they're called committee members, but after the committee from Werewolf by Night. I think that would be 9. And I thought we could just do an easy switch on that one to cult members.
Yes, I would. Right, so, I would say I love it with an asterisk.
Okay.
The cult, when we get to the Scarecrow in next season, there's a specific cult that he's trying to protect the world from. We might want to look at that and get a name and maybe work the name in, but just say.
Ooh, I would love that. Okay. See, I don't. I mean, I was trying to get things that are kind of could work for different seasons, but I don't know. But yeah, no, I think that would be great.
We're flying blind here, so I totally understand. I'm just like, I have read the Scarecrow issues, and I was obsessed with them as a kid, so I know that cult has a name. So
I was trying to think of like scary stuff that might go beyond the Son of Satan season a little bit, but for our $2 members, and correct me if I'm wrong, but those members get the audio version of the bonus show, correct?
That's right.
So yes, those are called furry ones. I thought about maybe transitioning that to scaly ones.
Ooh.
So think about that. You don't have to agree with these just because I'm springing them on you on air. So take them, marinate on those.
Yes. And, people that know me know that I have a very slow digestion. I have the digestion of a boa constrictor when it comes to taking in new information and realizing how I feel about it. So you're getting the first kiss of like, first blush. I could wake up in the middle of the night and say, I hate these.
Okay, and you might, and that's okay.
I do like the Cthulhuoid, pulp fiction, weird fiction, scaly ones.
Yeah, I liked that one. So our $3 levels, and those are the people that will get the video version of the bonus show, which is really the best way to get it because, Matt, you do a ton of editing. It looks really nice, and you'll get to see our cool shirts that we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think those are our Moon Beast patrons. Currently. I was just thinking we change that to Demon Spawn.
Oh, wow. You're just coming out of the gate roaring.
I'm trying. I thought about these more than like 2 minutes. So
throwing jacks behind your back and oil and smoke screens.
And weirdly enough, so we don't have to do this. I know you and I had already decided that our top tier is the Star God, and that's just going to remain.
Yes. Because
there's nothing cooler than a Star God. There's no way to improve on that.
I mean, come on.
Yes, exactly. That's a Man-Wolf, that's a Star God. I had a hard time thinking. I almost thought about, my first thought was to keep Pack Brother and Pack Sister, weirdly enough, because it's so cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That was the only one that I couldn't find something that I liked better.
I see why, because there's a suggestion that you're part of the fold, which is like you're in the inner, because that was for the long time, that was the highest level. So,
that's right.
For almost a year. So, I like that it suggests that you are a member of, you're one of us.
Yeah, you're part of the tribe. Yeah.
And then if you go above and beyond, you're obviously a barbarian space deity.
That's right. So anyhow, those are my suggestions. And yeah, stay tuned. We'll see if Matt is okay with those in
I'm
3
kiss.
weeks.
I'm totally okay with them.
Okay.
Great. So yeah, folks, please join those. And like Jacob said, I'm not going to pretend like this is some master work here, but I do put a little bit of effort into making these video versions of these. So if you just listen to the audio, you are missing out on a lot of the fun. For instance, after we talk about The Devil's Reign, we're going to talk about the films we'll be talking about this season, and I create a little video package to share to explain how this concept works. So it's stuff like that that shows that I go the extra mile for our patrons.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, well, yeah, let's just jump in. So, also, a lot of these shows, like Matt, like you said, we're going to be rolling. We're going to be picking them in a specific way that you'll be talking about after. And yeah, once we pick those, if they're available on YouTube, we will be watching them as a group on our Discord. And that's the most fun way to watch it. We're having a lot more people join us, and it's really, really fun. So yeah, they'll be, Matt's going to keep posting links to our Discord because they expire after a week. So we'll just post it in everything.
Yep.
And just, yeah, if you want to come and watch along with us, we normally do that on a Sunday or a Monday, traditionally, but yeah, that could change.
Yeah. Exactly. And this is going to be free on YouTube up on our normal channel, Bronze Age Monsters. So if you come across this in some other way, just find us there and drop a comment. Please like and subscribe and all that stuff. You know, all the algorithm matrix is real. But yeah, just say, you know, link to Discord in the comments and I will shoot you one. Because they do expire every week. So we would love to have you there. We have a great group of people. We've said this before, there's zero moderation required because Jacob and I are nice guys who draw cool people in, and they just act cool on their own without having to be told to. So it's a great group. I love it over there.
Yeah, it's been so much fun. I don't know, like many people, I don't know. I mean, like many middle-aged folks, I never imagined that I would really have a online community and online friends. I didn't think that could be something that would be meaningful before COVID. And then I realized that, oh yeah, it can be extremely meaningful. And now, you know, I used to live in Portland, 10 minutes away from Matt, and now I live 5.5 hours away from Matt and all of my friends. And so it's been really, really positive to have an online community, our Discord and all of our podcasting that we do. So yeah, very valuable. I learned a lesson.
There's a great value I find in parasocial relationships.
Yeah.
It's fun finding your people.
Yeah, it really is.
And frustrating when they're not close.
Yeah, yes, it definitely is. Yeah, and we have people on the Discord all over the world. So some of those people are very far away, but we love them and love being able to be friends with them. So I don't know, it's fun. I know I'm just saying what everyone else figured out years ago. Yeah, but well, I'm just like, wow, this is really neat.
Yeah. Have you logged on?
Yeah, interesting.
Wild out there.
It is crazy. All right, so but for tonight's episode, we are going to be talking about The Devil's Reign, which is a film that was released in 1975. It was directed by Robert Fuest, who, Matt, you said you knew from because he directed the two Dr. Phibes movies.
Which I adore.
Yeah, which are great. Yeah, with Vincent Price, and they are amazing.
Art Deco, crazy, campy weirdness.
It's so cool. Yeah, we love those movies. But yeah, so this is Robert Fuest directed this. It's starring William Shatner, Ernest Borgnine, Ida Lupino, Tom Skerritt, Keenan Wynn, Eddie Albert from Green Acres. Like it's full of big stars. And a lot of the movies that we've watched for the bonus show could be considered low budget B movies. The majority, honestly, I would say. And this is not a well-liked movie for some reason. I don't understand that. It's very reviled. It ruined this director's career. He never did anything again. He directed TV, and then he directed one like softcore Italian film
called
in the early 80s, and then he died. So this movie ruined his life. And I don't think that's fair. Well, as we'll see when we get into it. Also in the back, go on.
Before we dive in, did you have what you know? I did the That's Cool, That's Trash Psychotronic Weird Movie podcast, so I've been obsessed with this movie since I was a kid. This movie loomed large in my kind of horizon of touchstones or whatever films of eras. What was your impression of it, awareness of it, if there was any?
I had zero awareness of it.
Okay.
Honestly, I told you like right after you suggested it, you're just like, "Oh, it's The Devil's Reign. It has William Shatner." I was like, "Is that the one in Esperanto?" Like that's the one. That's what I thought. So I honestly didn't really know anything about it, and so I really nicely came in cold when we watched it on our Discord. So
definitely.
we watched it and I loved it. And then afterwards, as I'm doing more research on it, I'm like, why do people hate this? I don't get it. Like, it's silly and it's goofy, but it's also really well made.
Yeah, let's talk about the broad strokes of it. I'm going to be showing some clips as we talk.
Yeah.
In the background, and yeah, I mean, I don't know if we just want to do like the general plot, like in a 3-sentence kind of thing, and then just talk about some things about aspects about the film that we dug or didn't dig or whatever that were noteworthy.
Yeah, we can do that. I do want to talk about the beginning of the film because I think it's worth talking about. I mean, the credit sequence is actually quite good. It's just it's which Bosch painting is it? It's not the Garden of Earthly Delights. It's I can't remember. It's one of Hieronymus Bosch's paintings. Very scary, as you know, all his paintings are. And there's this really kind of horrific soundtrack that's going along with it too, just like screams, and yeah, it's really, really effective. And I think you and I both liked that this movie just starts in media res. Like, there's obviously been this long battle between the Preston family and this cult leader named Corbus, and we're just dropped right into it. We are given no explanation, which I love.
I do too.
And
I hate
it's
being hand-fed stuff. I get so bored.
I know, and it was something that we had talked with Michael Giacchino a lot about how much we love the Werewolf by Night special, because it just drops you into this world and does not, spoon feed you anything.
And even being dropped in that world, you still had 10 minutes lopped off of the original version.
Yeah, that explained a lot.
Yeah. So it's very obtuse in its entry, and I love that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you're introduced to Shatner, who plays Mark Preston. Ida Lupino's his mother. Ida Lupino, a lot of the reviews that I read, people are like, "Oh, poor Ida Lupino that she's in this," and I was like, I don't know. She works, like, she worked very steady until the end of her life. Maybe this wasn't as good as, I don't know, High Sierra or They Drive by Night, but right. She was also a very accomplished director, one of the few female directors working in the 40s and 50s. She directed a film called The Hitchhiker that is just one of the best films of the 50s, I think. But one of the best noir films.
Oh, yeah. Like 70 minutes of edge of your seat tension.
It's terrifying.
The entire film.
Yeah, and if you all you know of William Tallman is Perry Mason, this is gonna change what you think of him, because he is terrifying in it.
He was incredibly talented.
Yeah. So I loved seeing her in this, and she gets to ham it up. Everyone gets to ham it up. Guess what? Including Shatner, which he's quite good at that.
He's made of ham.
He is made of ham. So all we know is that the big bad is named Corbus. He's after a magical book, which, Matt, you had said is one of our favorite occult tropes that we love. So
handed down from Lovecraft through many different authors, you know, Clark Ashton Smiths and whoever, all the people that kind of copied him and fed off of his throwing away balled up pieces of paper for decades of their writing career. I love that trope.
Yeah, it's great. And so, well, yeah, why don't you take over? I've been talking too much.
Sure. So this is set in some rural Southwest. It was actually filmed in Durango, Mexico, but I think it was set in Arizona or New Mexico or something.
Like it, yeah.
It's like they're a cattle ranching family out in the middle of nowhere in the desert. And like you said, they have this long history with this embattled history with this Corbus guy. And so the father is missing of the Preston, the patriarch of the Preston family. He returns. He melts promptly into wax after telling his wife and his son that he needs to give the book to Corbus. And some great special effects. I will say right out of the gate, spoilers, this thing has amazing special effects, especially when people that are cult members, they're completely corrupted by the process. they're eyeless, which I find haunting and horrifying. Somehow, when you give your soul over to Corbus and become one of his flock, your eyes are taken out and there's just black nothingness there, and it looks horrifying.
Yeah.
Made me think of Lovecraft, like The Whisper in Darkness or something like that, where there was the brains in the canisters and they had like the mask of a man like wrapped up in a wheelchair with a blanket around it, like just creepy, weird, like anti-human stuff. So yeah, there's two Preston brothers. There's William Shatner and Tom Skerritt. Mark is Shatner and Tom Skerritt is John. I think, no, John.
Tom.
Thank you. Oh, he's Tom. Easy to remember. When you're doing so much cocaine, it really helps to have your character's name be your name. So William Shatner says he's going to strike out and go do this thing. And the cult takes his mom, terrifies the family friend or the farm ranch hand that they have on hand. So he goes to confront this guy. They have a battle of faiths in this spooky ass ghost town. Everything's, empty and ramshackle. And there's a church there that's been converted and perverted into a satanic social center.
Yeah.
Where you get donuts after mass, black mass. But yeah, so they have a battle of faiths, and we do a nice like Psycho type of thing where just kind of camera, Iris is down. And it's like, okay, so now we're going to go to the other brother, and he's in the city. He is a doctor. He's married to a woman who has psychic abilities, and Eddie Albert is his like mentor, practicing doctor named Richard, I think. And he has to go home and sort out what happened because his family's missing, and that's the bulk of this film. Yeah. So I saw this. I watched this probably 4 years ago for the first time, possibly thinking about riffing it for That's Cool, That's Trash, where I and Kyle and maybe Joe or someone would get on there and write jokes like Mystery Science Theater 3000 or riff tracks, and painstakingly go over this thing over like 2 full days of just like riffing, re-riffing, writing better jokes, improving jokes, blah, blah, blah. And I love the beginning. I thought the middle was stultifyingly boring, and I thought the ending was awesome. And I just threw it off the pile of possibles. And I rewatching it again, I was like, what the hell was I thinking? even turning off my riff, like, is this good to riff on? Like, I was not bored at all on this thing. And that's one of the common complaints, is that it's boring. It's really slow, and the plot is impenetrable, and I don't agree at all.
No, the majority of this was historically on Roger Ebert's most hated films list. Like I say, everyone hates it. Ernest Borgnine, who stars as Corbus, he shit-talked this film till the day he died. I think even up until I was reading, he was at some convention or speaking or something in 2010, and he said, that movie was made with mafia money, and I never got paid for it.
I saw that.
And I did some digging around. I'm like, no one else has said that. I don't know. Maybe Borgnine was in the know or something, but it just seemed like he just wanted to say as many horrible things as he could about this film. And the cinematographer, so we need to at least mention, God, the cinematography in this is fucking unreal cool. I forgot to write down the guy's name. He was born in Mexico. He had a really, really big filmography. Not a ton of stuff that I was familiar with, but he was obviously extremely talented. And the composition of these shots and some of the moving shots, I don't know, as we were watching it together, Matt, you and I were just like, oh my God, this is beautiful. It's like some of the desert shots look like fucking El Topo or something.
Yeah, it says cinematography on IMDb by Alex Phillips Jr.
That's right.
Yeah, some of these shots of the blasted desert and the range just kind of looming over this flat, dead ground, and characters positioned having a conversation in the foreground, with that being the depth of everything. It was like The Searchers or something like that, in the way it was some of these shots were done, the exteriors. Beautifully shot. Like way too nice for what the story is, because this is a drive-in, kind of pulpy, it's got a little IQ, it's not stupid.
A little bit.
The one criticism, we'll get there in a minute. Let's kind of go through some of the other stuff we liked about it. Having Shatner in there was a blast. And he's part of a ranching family, so he's wearing like a flannel shirt and undershirt tucked into jeans with a belt and boots on, cowboy boots. So if you've seen Kingdom of the Spiders, which is another movie he made right around this time, he looks like he just came off one set and walked on the other one. Just saw that movie at the All Night Horror Marathon this last October, and it was super fun. Not as fun as this one though. Yeah, Scarrett. I mean, what he'd done MASH. I'm trying to think of what else he had been in before this. The movie MASH.
Well, he was the cop in Harold and Maude.
Oh my God, that's right.
But no, he didn't have a ton of credits, and he's great in this, and he's obviously the more cityfied brother.
Yeah.
He dresses in
City
kind
mouse.
of, yeah, he's the city mouse. He dresses in kind of Western wear, but Western wear that I wear.
Yes.
So,
I think we realized
ranch wear.
I think you realized while we were watching it together, like, I think I have that entire outfit, literally.
I do. I dress like Tom Skerritt in the 70s in this movie, which I don't apologize for.
He's a sex symbol, so that is A-okay by me.
Yeah, exactly. So like you were saying, Matt, like the makeup and the special effects in this are great. I mean, they're really well done while also being really hilarious, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
Were you reading? So I guess Severin Films did a Blu-ray of this.
I read a description of the extras about how they did these sequences.
Yeah, a little bit how they did them, and just, I mean, I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, it was makeup artist Tom Berman, and he described kind of how the crew pulled off this melting kind of sequence that is used a lot in there. And he said that that a lot of the crew was made up of folks with no makeup experience, but the production was kind of short on money sometimes, they said, for makeup, but they were apparently flush with time to get the shots they needed, because he said, we shot days and days of melting people.
And they use every shot. And
they use every shot.
I'm glad all of them are in it. I know that's a major complaint from critics of like, wow,
Huge.
that last act is just a orgy of special effects. Like, and problem being,
yeah, but it goes on for so long that it almost becomes like a Warhol film or something.
Yeah, it gets surreal.
It gets so surreal and awesome. And and it just keeps going. I don't know. I really loved this film. I watched it again with my wife. I was just like, oh, you got to see this, just because, I mean, she's a huge fan of Ida Lupino. So I was like, well, you gotta see this. I think this is like the second to last film she was in. I think the last one was Food of the Gods with Marjo Gortner.
With Marjo Gortner. Wow. Yeah. That's not the last thing you want your name on.
Well, she was in TV after that, but that was the last.
Yeah, but I mean
film.
the last, like, where you can go to the cinema and have an evening out.
Yep, with the giant killer rats.
And Marjo Gortner.
Yeah, Marjo Gortner.
Child preacher.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so one criticism I see often of this, it was on the IMDb page as well, is kind of saying like, once some of the Preston family are acquired and pulled into the cult, why doesn't Corbus just send them to go get the book themselves? It's like, okay, that's kind of one of those logic things, but it's like, because their soul is trapped in this object called the Devil's Rain that looks like a really evil Fabergé egg, their husks are being controlled by Corbus. Like, when you lose your soul to a satanic leader, you don't get to just go do some checking at the credit union and pick up some fennel and make a salad. Like, you're just doing what he wants you to do. So he doesn't know where the book is, so he can't send his tendrils, which are his cult members, out to do that. As will be my immediate counter. Is that fair?
No, that's totally fair.
Like, when your eyes are pulled out of your head and Satan extracts your soul out of your body, you're not the same. He's like, yes, good days, bad days. No, they're all bad days now. He's actually screaming inside of that Fabergé egg, and his body's just walking around, being controlled by Ernest fucking Borgnine.
Yep. Who turns into a goat at one point, which is man goat, which is I don't know. I really recommend it. I mean, we're going to be watching a lot of devil movies, a lot of Satan worshiping movies this season, but I can already tell this is going to be one of my favorites.
Yeah, I think we should stick with claws up. I'll just change the claws to scaly reptilian claws.
Yep. I have one scaly reptilian claw up for me.
One for me too. I absolutely love it. I think if you go in looking, I mean, it was trying to please and shock people, and I think it totally succeeded.
Agreed.
It does slow down a tiny bit in the middle when it's just Tom and his wife going through a ghost town, kind of having some spooky interactions with hooded cult members, but it never stops. I mean, there were some think there's one car stunt scene where I was like, holy shit. Like it looked like really dangerous. Like
I know.
it's never boring.
No, it's never boring. No, I really recommend it to anyone. I'm tempted to look at how much the Blu-ray is, honestly.
I was just gonna say, I think I might actually add this to it because the cinematography is so nice. I might actually buy this on Blu-ray.
Oof, that would look great if they have a really good print. Man, that would look great.
All those hollowed out porn blow-up dolls bubbling and
that's right,
colored wax, cult robes. What an amazing movie, man!
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, I feel like that was a great start. That was almost like the Werewolf and the Samurai or whatever that one was called.
Beast and the Magic Sword.
Beast and the Magic Sword.
I know, it's almost like starting with that.
Yeah. So we have a short video package here to explain. The Devil's Reign was chosen by me to start this off so we could begin a back and forth, a chess game with the Dark One, if you want to say it that way. So I'll be rolling. We have a 30-sided die. This glows in the dark. Jacob is getting his ASAP. And we're going to take turns each week rolling the die. Of course, this is an illusion of agency. The Dark One's choosing the film. But he gives us the illusion, much like the cult members of Corbus had the illusion of having their own bodies, but they weren't. So what we're going to do is show this package, show how this works, give you a preview of some of these posters, of the movies we're going to watch, and some of the rules, because this is actually very, you don't just sign bloody contracts. There's a bunch of small print there. It's also bloody. So here's how that works.
Welcome to the Bronze Age Monsters bonus show, Season 1, The Devil's Dice. Each episode will feature a discussion of a 1970s Satan movie chosen by the Fallen One, the Prince of the Devils, the Son of Perdition, Satan himself. Through an accursed 30-sided die of unknown origin, the films will be assigned to Jacob and Matt. The hosts roll the die, but the author of all sin calls the shots. This season will be skulking through the drive-in of the damned for all manner of cinematic evil collected on this list. Each week, a host rolls the die, and the Son of the Morning chooses the result. Once a film is chosen, it is struck from the list. If a player rolls that film's number in the future, they must roll again. If they roll 3 struck films in a row, they are in triple jeopardy, and must roll a 6-sided die to select a Christian satanic panic scare film from the bowels of the lake of fire.
Oh my god. Oh,
okay, so that's how this is going to work.
That is so great. See, that is the kind of production value you get as a patron of this show.
Yep. If you're not watching the video version, you just missed out on a little labor of love I did today just to entertain myself, and I was trying to make you laugh, and I achieved my aim.
You did. It was so awesome. I had not seen that till now. Okay,
so what we're going to do is I would like to include the roll whenever possible into the video package so we can see there's no funny business here.
Okay.
This is all in the up and up. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and film this right now.
Okay.
And I'm rolling it on, this is my mat, which is, I bought this from a local artist as a screen print. I'm using this as my rolling mat. We have 26.
Okay.
So I have to reference our handy dandy chart here. 26. Oh shit. Let me get a die. I just realized it's one of the 666 ones.
What's that mean?
That's one of the ones where 6, 16, and 26 were considered 666 question marks. And that means there's a sub list that I need to choose from. These are wild cards.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I rolled a 26 there, folks. And as you can see from this list, that is one that is marked with some scary symbols. And it means it is one of these 666. Film 6, film 16, and 26 are kind of, you drop down. It's like the pinball game for Haunted House. You drop down to the lower level of the board. So we have some non-70s ones that are kind of wild cards in here. There's like Jaws of Satan. There's the Turkish remake of Exorcist, The Black Cat with Karloff. Lugosi and Karloff, Haxan. So it gets kind of a little more broad.
Ooh.
So I'm going to roll the die here. I have to roll 2 die, actually. Let me record this. Actually, I didn't count. Okay. Video, record. Here's my 6-sided die. We got a 3 and another 3. So, Fear No Evil, which is from 1981. It is available on Daily Motion for free in 2 chunks. I don't know much about it, but I believe one of our pack members, I think Rob Haferman, just watched this at random and posted about it on our Discord. So
I trust Rob's taste.
Well, yeah, I don't know what he thought about it, but yeah, it's called Fear No Evil. It's about a teenager who gets, I think, possessed by the devil in high school.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to be watching. I will add a link to that Daily Motion if people want to watch it here. I don't believe this is one we can watch on Discord. I will try and find a YouTube version, but I don't think I did the first time.
That's okay. We're not going to be able to watch all these on Discord. So
that is very true. So that is how the Devil's Dice works this season. I'm super excited. I can't wait until we get deeper into the list when more things are crossed off and watched, and we get to Triple Jeopardy and we have to watch 80s VHS rips of church videos about the evils of music and role playing.
I just love how intricate these rules are. It's like Pinochle, but satanic.
Yeah, but I couldn't follow Pinochle because I don't care. I care about this stuff.
Me too.
Okay, so one of the things I was doing in the previous iteration of this bonus show was doing a thing called Kickstarter Catch Up, where I talk about comics I backed and haven't read yet. This is kind of a variation on that. I promise not everything I do is going to be horror-based in here. I hope that we haven't turned you off with too much of our tongue-in-cheek Satan folk horror stuff, but I am going to tie this whole thing together thematically. I think you are too, with what I know what you're talking about. I'm talking about this thing that I backed, this book called We Don't Go Back, which is, I believe, a line that Christopher Lee says in the Wicker Man when he's explaining how a society moves forward and embraces their past or whatever, right? But modernizes the ancient stuff. And this was by Howard David Ingham. And I'll be flipping through this a little bit on video for people to see. But it's a film guide. He did these essays on all these different TV things, like, British TV shows that kids saw, like Children of the Stones, all these different serialized things that were all folk horror. And he goes in and explains them. And there's like little mini reviews. So like Children of the Corn, he has a rating system here, like little icons that say like, might be gory or might be a trigger warning, skeletal hands, thumbs up for like, I recommend this one. And so it's just a great guide that breaks it up through like TV, through era. So the Unholy Trinity he reviews, which we all know that those 3 films are what started this whole kind of thing. The Haunting of British TV, Secret Powers of Attraction, Folk Horror Variations, Into the Wood, Folk Horror Fairy Tales, all that kind of stuff. So it's amazing. And when you and I went to see that folk horror documentary at the Hollywood, he was interviewed on there. I was like elbowing Renee, who doesn't care about any of this stuff. Like I talked to him on Facebook and I bought his book.
God damn, I loved that documentary. Yeah. It was almost 4 hours long.
3 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, and the guys at Weird War in Portland put it on at the Hollywood, and it was incredible. Well, I'm very jealous of that book. If it's still around, my birthday is in June. So
I know that.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
All right. So for me, like I said, almost a year ago, my wife and I moved to Klamath Falls. I ended up finally getting a job at the Klamath Falls Public Library in the circulation department. And it's my job to go and shelf read old weird shelves to see if everything's there that should be there. And while I was doing that in the Oregon history section, I found this book called Year of the Sasquatch by John Green. And these are like, there's 3 of these that he wrote that are all like late 60s, early 70s. He was one of the first. He was the preeminent Bigfoot-ologist of the time. And he wrote these 3 books. And yeah, they're almost, they're obviously self-published. They're almost like magazine-sized, like zines or something. And these were, like chapbooks or something. These had obviously not been checked out for many, many years. It does have a barcode on the back, but It also has, you know, little card.
We
which
smell that.
weirdly
Does it smell like what I think it smells like? That old page
Oh, it
smell.
absolutely
Oh
smells
God,
like
that
that.
just is my happy
But you know
place.
what's creepy?
That's Totoro's tummy.
It's totally blank.
Blank. Ooh.
Yeah. I blame the deep state.
I would be the guy that you would be, if we didn't know each other, you'd be like,
Yeah.
who's that weird guy that's always hanging on the Oregon history shelf? Like he's just kind of skulking around. He doesn't make eye
Oh
contact.
man, the Oregon history shelf was so rad. It took, and it's all like home published shit, and it's all really thin. So it took me 4 hours to like do 2 shelves, just
wow.
making sure everything's
Every
in
little tiny
order,
volume.
marking ones that weren't there, you know, trying to find them. You know, some had fallen behind the shelf and obviously hadn't been, you know, touched in years. And I don't know. But what was cool about this?
Ask you a practical question before we go
Yes.
dive into the content. My mom was a volunteer at her library just for fun, and so they would go through and like cull stuff. I don't know if that's like
weeding.
extra copies or whatever, but you know, so she would say like, "Oh, do you want this manga thing? You know, like, do you want blah blah?" And I'm like, "Yes, like it's $3. Yes, buy every single one of those."
Yeah.
How does that work? Where is it just weeding out extra copies? Like am I depriving someone of Lone Wolf and Cub because my mom sent me volume 4 of Lone Wolf and Cub? Like, is it gone, or do they have their own?
No, it's gone. So the Oregon history section of the library cannot be weeded. So weeding normally is if a book hasn't been checked out in like 5 to 7 years, the library will pull it and sell it at like a Friends of the Library sale. Or that's one perk I realized of circulation, is that when you're weeding, which I weed too, and you'll pull stuff and I'll just be like, I want this and I want this. And so you do get to do that. But I didn't directly ask, because I was just like, ooh, I don't want to send up any red flags, because I definitely want these things. And I was like, when's that section weeded? And they're like, nah, it's a historical state section. That's not weeded. It's all kept forever.
I mean, awful for you, but
awful for me. But yeah, I looked up on the computer to see when this was checked out last, and there was no record of it being checked out. So it had to have been, I think the records go back to like 2010.
Okay.
So it hasn't been checked out in a while. And so I've been checking out all of we have 3 of them, and this is the second one. I'm waiting for the third. And this is great. I mean, I've talked multiple times on the show about growing up on Mount Hood as a very small child, having a Bigfoot hunting kit that I made, hearing stories from my dad's, my dad built log cabins with these Portuguese brothers, the Gomez brothers, and they would tell me tall tales about finding Bigfoot and chasing him that I all realize now is bullshit, that they were just trying to scare a 5-year-old kid, and mission accomplished. Yep. But I also thought it was amazing. But Matt, I looked in here where the most sightings are in Oregon is Mount Hood area, Estacada,
my neighborhood,
and Coos County.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I live out near Estacada now, but I'm from Coos Bay. Crazy.
Yeah. So the forest, the forest range over there has a massive amount of sightings that go back to the turn of the century.
Wow. You know, I don't think I ever knew that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I was looking on the map and I was like, oh, okay. Isn't the other one more that I checked out, which I can't remember. Then that was, I don't know, but I did like the cover of this is weird. It's pretty interesting art, but it's from basically because of a theory that John Green had that took a certain totem from a totem pole that the Northwest coastal tribes would do here, and said that this one was actually their depiction of a Bigfoot, of a Sasquatch, and that kind of fit in with their ancient legends of these hairy men-like beasts that lived in the Oregon forests.
So do you think that is just a Jungian, like, you know what I mean? Like the same way that like people in sleep paralysis see like a man with a broad-brimmed cap, like in Shadow. Like, I mean, it's just like these things that the brain just historically kicks out as symbols.
Well, I mean, it is everywhere, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
Himalayas.
Himalayas, you know, I mean, yeah, I think every Yeah, it is. Maybe it's just one of those weird, Jungian totems or something that is just going to be in every civilization. But
It might be called skunk ape, but it's still basically the same thing.
it's still cool. Yeah, no, and I've always been fascinated with that, and especially just growing up. But it's cool because this stuff really predates the Bigfoot craze. Really took off after the In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy episode that aired, I think, in 1979. And that kicked off an industry, actually. But before then, it was just stuff like this. And there's actually something in here called the Bigfoot Bulletin. That's him trying to get together all the different researchers around the United States. He's like, guys, we all need to contribute to this. And so like some of the contributions are like cartoons that they'd made, like Far Side cartoons and stuff like that. And it's great. And Matt, you and I love handmade, self-published shit. And if it's self-published about Bigfoot, and if a lot of it is about Oregon, then that's our sweet spot. So
yes, very much so. So I'm imagining since that's self-published, it's not widely distributed, so it's probably pretty hard to find.
They're hard to find. His books are on eBay. They're anywhere from $40 to $80, so they're not cheap. But
25
probably
is kind of where I was hoping to stop paying.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm sure they're rare. I don't know what kind of print run these had. 1,000 at the most.
I would think that would be the minimum.
Close, yeah. But yeah. So anyhow, that's a good kind of taste of the kind of stuff that we do on the bonus show every week. So yeah, we were glad to give this one away for free, just to kind of let people know what we do.
Yeah. So if you enjoy this kind of content and want to keep going with us for the Devil's Dice this season, go to patreon.com/Bronze Age Monsters and join at a level that gets the bonus show, which is anything above $1. And we, again, highly recommend, as the the stewards of the wine, I recommend this vintage, sir. I would get the $3 or above because you get the videos, sir. So yeah, do that. And we're going to watch Fear No Evil. I will put a link to that Daily Motion availability of it, and check it out and join us, become a Patreon backer and join us next week.
All right. So one thing I did not do, we normally have we normally have a sign off, which I did not come up with a new sign off, but we'll do that. We'll write something appropriately spooky, because Matt and I are normally drinking. I was having some Westward whiskey, and you were having a martini.
Bone dry gin martini.
Yeah. I killed this. So so yeah. Until next time from us.
Thanks for joining us.